Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, Stayntouch Product Enhancements, version 5.98, Guest Birthday Report, Automate the Onyx Commissions Export, and more, presented by Stayntouch Implementation Consultant, Victor Zoll. I'm your host, Erin Fisher, the content writer here at Stayntouch. In this presentation, we will cover the following enhancements: one-click add-on bundling, introducing the Guest Birthday Report, automate the Onyx Commission Export, skip ID scanning depending on the country or nationality, improved company and TA card statistics, performant invoice enhancements, smarter payment management, which includes the option to choose when the release holds, or when to release holds, excuse me. In Pilot, we have a new detailed bill format for walk-in guests. This will be automatic when generating a bill. Additionally, multi-property users can now edit charge code taxes. And finally, we have some enhancements to our integrations. We have a new integration with FlexiPass for mobile keys, as well as some Connect API enhancements. We'll have a short Q&A at the end of the presentation, and feel free to submit questions throughout the presentation, and we'll answer them in the order they were received at the end. And now I'm going to pass it over to Victor.
Awesome. Thanks, Erin. I'm going to share my screen here. And then just confirming, Erin, you can see my screen?
Yeah.
And you can hear me okay?
Perfect, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Victor Zoll, Implementation Consultant here at Stayntouch. Let's go ahead and get started talking about the new feature enhancements or releases from our latest release, version 5.98. The first one is going to be talking about in addition to add-ons. So previously in a couple of releases ago, we introduced a feature to one click of add-on bundling when you are creating a reservation or adding it to a singular reservation. We now have that feature included with groups as well now. So again, originally, when you were creating a reservation, you had the option to bundle those add-ons with the price, meaning that it would be included in the room rate when you were making that reservation for that single person. So that was this easy checkbox that you can quickly add multiple add-ons into your reservation, and then it would be included in the room rate. We now introduced that feature going along with groups as well. So now if I go to one of my groups I have created here, and I wanted to add one of those add-ons here, I can do the same functionality of clicking those and adding them to the rate of for the group here. So for example, I had like valet parking and bundle that with the price. And then I can also add another add-on here. Let's say like late checkout, and then bundle with that price as well here. So again, it was introduced originally with just singular groups or individual reservations. And now we've introduced that feature into groups as well here. Moving on from the add-ons, another enhancement now with Stayntouch is a new report. We do now have something called the Guest Birthday Report. Again, this is going to be found under your reports section. So if you go to your reports and new report here. Now, obviously, if you are going to be using this Guest Birthday Report, a couple things need to happen. You obviously need to be either make it mandatory that you capture the guest birthday when either creating a reservation or checking them in, or you make it as an optional, but it needs to be obviously filled out. Real quick here, if you wanted to make that mandatory or make it, you may have seen already on the guest profile, but you can also make that mandatory here if you wanted to start using this birthday report to make the birthday a mandatory field that you always capture when making a reservation or checking someone in. But now the report here, if I go to my new report here, I'm going to quickly search for a guest birthday here. And it's called a guest birthday report here. A couple options here. Obviously, you have filters with the date, depending on the range or what you're looking for in regards to the specific birthdays that you are wanting to pull with this report. And then you have a couple options if you just want to show all guests, regardless if it is their birthday or not. And then you have a couple more parameters that you could select here with the exact dates of whenever that date is that you select up here, plus or minus 7 days or plus or minus 30 days is here. And then if you quickly run the report, same process as your other reports, it will be put into your Stayntouch inbox here, and then you can either view that report, download it or print it out as well as an option like your other reports here as well. So that is a new enhancement to another report available to you all. Jumping over, talking about an integration that we currently have with Onyx. So if you're a property that uses the Onyx integration for commission processing, we now have a new feature. Previously with Onyx, it had to be a manual process when you were going to send that export over. You actually had to go into a travel agent. I'm sorry, you had to go into your financials and then commissions and then create that export and send it out to Onyx here if you had that option and you're integrated with them. With this new feature here now, you do have the option. If you go on the back end of settings and settings again here, and then you go to your integrations tab, and then you go into commissions here. With this new feature, you now have the option to send during end of day. So what happens here is during the end of day process, Stayntouch will automatically send that export to Onyx. It's configured based on the SFTP that you have set up with that Onyx integration. If the SFTP or the transfer does fail during your end of day process, your end of day will still complete, will still run and complete. You'll just have to send it manually if Onyx does not receive that for whatever reason, that file that's being exported to them. So again, this feature here, by toggling this on, will send it automatically during the end of day versus that manual process where you actually had to go into the commissions module and manually send that an email through SFTP to Onyx itself there. The next feature is regarding ID scanning. So if you're a property that uses the ID scanning feature within Stayntouch, there's a new feature available to you all. So if I maneuver over to my hotel and staff and ID collection here, and then I go into the PMS section here, and then I go into activating this. And then now when I scan all guests, I do have the parameters here to select if I wanted a different to exclude. So I can exclude none. I can exclude by country. So I could select the countries that are going to be excluded from the ID scanning, or I could select nationality as well here. So again, this is something similar to that birthday report with the field of the birthday. If you are capturing the country and the nationality of guests for your property, this is something that will be beneficial to you all, that you can exclude it based on the nationality or the country that you're selecting, that they don't have to scan their ID if you're going to exclude it from them. Again, this is an additional feature with the ID scanning. All right, gonna jump over to, in addition to enhancement to our company and TA card statistics here. So going over to my revenue management and company and TA cards here. What we did here was we basically optimized the calculations behind the company and travel agent statistics tab here. So if I go ahead and pull up the travel agent card here, let's just do this one for Agoda here. To ensure more accuracy and consistency, revenue now we correctly include group bookings. If you do attach, for example, a company card or a travel agent's card to a group, that will all be included in the statistics tab here now. Stay counts as well as revenue that are tied to the proper month and year, and this is independent of the actual checkout date. So we'll be reporting more accurate and consistent data here. So again, this would be under the statistics. You can also obviously pull these reports if you wanted to do your company and TA top producers report. Again, more accurate data based on the new statistics and calculations that we are able to do and produce now. So again, this is under the company and TA top producers here. All right. Next enhancement here is regarding financials, and it's regarding the invoices. So now with our pro forma invoice enhancements, we added a new pro forma invoice summary by day layout for both guest and group bills as well. This just makes it easier to understand and clearly a breakdown of the expected or estimated charges for that particular guest or for the group as well here. So I'm going to jump over to another property here, pulling up the individual guest reservation here. And again, if I wanted to print out that pro forma invoice or just review that pro forma invoice here, I can easily go into the bill and charges screen here, and then you will see the new layouts that are available to you regarding that pro forma invoice. So under detailed bill here, I now have pro forma broken down, and I have the option for pro forma detailed and pro forma summary by day here. Same functionality happens for groups. So pulling up a group here, if I go into my group, and again, I just wanted to view that pro forma invoice or print it out as well here. If I go over to the transactions tab here, click on print, and then again, I have my pro forma detailed. So just a preview of what that looks like, similar to what it was individually, but this will break it down by the charges. Again, these are just your estimated charges. That doesn't cover anything charges acquired during the actual stay of the group or the guest here. So this is broken down. Or if you wanted to do it by summary by day for the pro forma invoice, you also have the option to do that as well. And that just gives you a total amount per day here. So again, broken down individually, if you do want to do it by a summary or by individual item, you do have that option now with the pro forma invoice here. All right, gonna jump over to talking about enhancement in regards to your authorization rules within your property. So if you're a property that collects some kind of incidentals when the guest checks in, we now have the feature for you to control how long the unused credit card authorizations remain active after checkout. So this is big for a lot of properties that maybe there's additional charges that need to be charged to the guest for whatever reason, damages to the room, or they purchase things from the minibar. Now with this new feature, you're able to choose the release. If you're going to release that authorization immediately, you have the option to release it or hold it for 12, 24, 48, or 72 hours. Again, this just gives you added flexibility to capture charges if the guests return or incur extra charges while improving the cash flow management. So this feature here, if you go into your settings and settings here, is going to be under your reservations and then your reservation settings. So again, you have your authorization incidental rules here, whatever amount you're going to be capturing. And then this new feature here is the feature I was just speaking of. So again, if you leave it as blank, obviously that authorization will be released immediately. But now you do have the option to select 12, 24, 48, or 72 as well here. Just remember when you select one of those options there, you hit save changes at the very bottom here. So that's that feature there. Jumping over to our properties, we're currently, again, piloting our grab and go passerby. So this is just an additional enhancement to that we are currently piloting. It's just a detailed bill format made easier for walking guests. So those passerby guests that purchase something at your marketplace or your gift shop, and they just pay immediately with their card here. This passerby walk-in, the interface account now supports detailed billed items format by default, so you can provide receipts with complete item descriptions. Again, this is for the grab and go feature with Stayntouch. So real quick, if I pull up one of my passerby accounts here, and then I go to my transactions and say a guest did want to purchase or want to have a printout of their invoice. If I pull up whatever that transaction was here, I can go ahead and print out that invoice for that guest or that receipt. And this will just give me a breakdown of the items that were purchased at that time. So that's that option there. Again, this is in pilot with our grab and go and our passerby, but this is an additional feature that will be included once we release that to general release here. Go ahead and cancel that. All right, so we're going to move over for our properties that utilize the functionality of multi-property configuration with us. This is geared towards you all. With the multi-property configuration now, you do have the capabilities now to edit charge code taxes. So the way that this works is that multi-property users can now easily edit or remove tax associations when editable and the PMS checkbox is selected from the multi-property configuration screen, giving the hotels more flexibility to manage only the taxes that apply to that particular charge code. So I'm going to actually log in here to my multi-property here. So I'm going to go over to my configuration section here and under financials and then charge codes. So right now I have my room revenue that's built at the chain, the multi-property level here. And as you can see here, if I scroll down to the taxes that are applied to it, I do have 2 taxes applied to it. And I do have this new checkbox that says edible in the PMS. So if I don't have this selected and I go in and say my changes, oops. Okay. And then I go into my property itself here. Give me 1 second here. Log back in here real quick. Again, I'm in a demo property or RUAT environment here. I pull up my financials and my charge codes. So I have that room charge that, again, with this little orange arrows signifies that it was created at the chain, the multi-property level. If I go in there, I do have the option to make additional changes if I needed to in regards to that tax here. So again, this is allowing you the flexibility to edit the taxes that are applicable or that are applying to the certain charge codes that you do built out in that multi-property, that chain level. All right, gonna jump over, going back. Let me log into this other property here. And we're going to be talking about a new integration that we currently have. So this new integration is in regards to the mobile key functionality with FlexiPass. So this is, again, a new integration for us. The guest is able to unlock using a mobile device with the mobile key functionality. So again, if you navigate to settings and settings here, and jump over to my integrations under door lock interfaces and then mobile keys, I do have that option for FlexiPass here. So again, there's additional configuration. So if you are a property that is interested in mobile keys functionality or are currently interested in FlexiPass specifically, obviously you can reach out to us and we can initiate this integration that we now are able to do with FlexiPass. There is also an article in our Stayntouch knowledge base that actually goes through the FlexiPass setup and what is required for that and what it looks like in regards to testing and whatnot. So if you are, again, interested in a mobile key or you are currently integrated or working with FlexiPass, this is the article that you would want to refer to and go through as well here. And then the last one, nothing to show here. It's just an enhancement to our APIs. Basically, we introduced a new API for us to now get posting accounts bills with endpoints. So now you can access detailed bill information for a posting account that will include transferred or routed charges, bill entity details, and then the last 4 digits of a payment card. Again, this is using the get posting accounts API functionality, just making it easier for partners to track financial data in regards to that posting accounts there. All right, last thing I just want to again recap and refresh everyone's memory. If you did want to review these release notes of version 5.98 or watch this again webinar that Aaron will be posting later today, if you are on your Stayntouch homepage and you click on the customer support section, you do have that option for your release notes button here. And again, if you do want to read past release notes, you can click on the Stayntouch PMS button and you can read our past release notes. Again, the current one that we just talked about was 5.98. Or if you wanted to watch those videos, even past videos, you can go into here and watch those videos as well here. And again, our version of 5.98 will be posted on here as well. All right, then I'm going to hand it back to Aaron to see if there's any questions or anyone needs further clarification on anything. I'm going to go and stop sharing my screen here, Aaron.
All right. Thanks so much, Victor. Now I'd like to take to the floor to ask some questions. I see we have a couple questions from Tracy. Is there a way to group a couple of reservations to create a mini group? When several guests make reservations separately, we frequently get guests who want to cover 2 or 3 reservations together on one bill after the reservations have been made separately. So yes, we do have a party reservations functionality, and we have documentation on that on the knowledge base. that could work for 2 or 3 reservations together.
Yep. And then just a quick note on that as well. So either option is either when you're creating the reservation at that time, you could obviously link them all together by that party functionality that Aaron just mentioned, or if you do have already existing reservations, you'll have to create that party first, and then be able to attach those individual reservations to that party, but they will all be linked together under that one party. And like Aaron said, there is documentation on that in our Stay in Touch knowledge base.
Thank you. And then Tracy also asked, on the release of the authorization, is there a way to set up different authorization settings for groups? For example, room and taxes covered by the group, then the incidentals would only be what the authorization is for versus an individual guest who's paying all of their own charges.
So unfortunately, there's no rules or restrictions in regards to the authorizations, kind of applies to all. Obviously, if things are being routed to a master account, those won't be included in the authorization. But in general, whatever is going to be charged will be part of the authorization based on that one setting that you set up into your settings section for authorization or incidental rules.
All right, thank you. Okay, I'll give everyone a few more moments to enter any questions. Okay, since I don't see any questions, let me go ahead and share my screen again. All right, so in this webinar, we reviewed one-click add-on bundling, the guest birthday report, how to automate the Onyx commission export, how to skip ID scanning depending on country or nationality, improved company and travel agent card statistics, perform invoice enhancements, choose how to choose when to release holds, the detailed bill format for walk-in guests, which is in pilot. Multi-property users can now edit charge code taxes, FlexiPass for mobile keys, and as well as our Connect API enhancements. With that, I'd like to conclude our presentation. Thank you all for coming, and if you have any additional questions, feel free to email me at aaron.fisher@stayntouch.com. Thanks again.